Golesh to Auburn. Just overall thoughts here. I mean, Allie and I are both in Tampa, so I like him. I wonder how invested they'll be, how bought in they'll be, but just thoughts here.
I love it. I mean, because you get an offensive-minded guy who has SEC experience already being at Tennessee. Now you get him to run this program. And my first thought when I saw that they hired him was that what Alex Golesh can do with Deuce Knight, I think, in that offense next year is going to be terrifying. Because you saw what he was able to do with Byron Brown's a dual threat guy. And his defenses, Golesh's, I mean, USF was unbelievable at forcing turnovers. And Auburn's turnover margin has been awful. So if you're able to turn that around and all of a sudden bring this sort of dynamic dual threat quarterback offense, like you really are kind of filling in what Auburn's been missing. And I think Golesh is an awesome fit there.
What do you think about player retention? Like because he's a running guy, like, do you think it's harder to retain somebody like, I mean, Cam Coleman, certainly they've got elite weapons. I'm trying to think, and I'm like, oh yeah, those guys. Is that going to be harder, or do you think he can do it?
I think there's a chance because he is an offensive guy. So you can still kind of sell that pitch like, it might not be air raid, but we're still going to be playing a fast, pace of offense. We'll get to Summerall a little bit, but like I do think Summerall might have a hard time retaining a guy like Dallas Wilson because he's going to be more physical, more slow. But I think that Golesh, it always is kind of tricky with having a group of five guy move up to the SEC, and then you have Cam Coleman sitting there like, dude, Kirby Smart's going to pay me $1 million. So like that always is kind of hard having a non-SEC coach coming up and immediately having to compete with some of the best in the league. So it is always going to be hard, especially with those top players, because you know that every elite program is going to be throwing $1 million at them. But I mean, Auburn has the money, right? And if Golesh is able to just get in there and make a good first impression, I think it's possible, but it's going to be a little harder for Golesh to retain those superstars just because I do think of everybody else who's going to be coming in to try and pluck them up.
What is their expectation as far as the timeline goes?
I mean, you got to at least make a bowl next year. I mean, probably playoff conversation year 3, maybe make it run at year 4. Because I do think with Hit being his first power experience, in theory, you give him more time. I'm not sure how much patience Auburn has at this point, given, Brian Harsin, Hugh Freeze, all that. But I think, within the next 5 years, you've got to be a legitimate contender. And it's just at least steady growth, if nothing else, right? Can you win 6, then 8, then 9? Like, that's all you have to do. But don't come out and go, 9-3 your first year, and then all of a sudden fall off a cliff to where it doesn't seem sustainable. So as long as you can just kind of keep progressing, keep showing signs of improvement in like a true proof of concept, then that should be enough for a team like Auburn, who's at least been down the nose recently, to slowly build up and become nationally relevant again.
All right, we'll bring Allie back in and talk a little bit about Summerall to UF. Allie, I don't know if you're unfrozen or not, but tell the kids to get off their iPads and go to bed. School day tomorrow.